Many moons ago, I found myself in the noble role of a hospice RN, tending to the needs of those nearing the end of their earthly journey. It was a calling that demanded both physical and emotional fortitude. But within its challenging embrace, I discovered a world where the veil between the living and the departed grew thin. Within the confines of the hospice inpatient unit, a sanctuary of solace and tranquility, I encountered a multitude of souls on their final sojourn. Each room held a unique story, a tapestry woven with threads of love, pain, and the silent acceptance of what lay ahead. But one incident, my friends, etched itself upon my memory like no other. As I traversed the corridors of the unit, a sense of profound serenity enveloped me. It was during one such journey that I passed by a room and glanced inside, my gaze falling upon a woman in the throes of her final moments. To my surprise, she sat upon the edge of her bed, a radiant smile adorning her face. Yet, moments before, she had lain in repose, and I recalled that one of her legs had been amputated. My curiosity piqued. I halted in my tracks, compelled to investigate further. I returned to her room, peering through the doorway, only to find her still nestled within the confines of her bed. Had I witnessed her soul, untethered and preparing to embark upon its celestial voyage? Her countenance exuded such bliss, such contentment, that I could not help but wonder if I had caught a fleeting glimpse into the realm beyond our own. When the day's work drew to a close, I made my way home, my mind still awash with the mystical encounter. Little did I know that my home, too, would become a stage for the enigmatic dance between the living and the departed. As I crossed the threshold, a figure materialized before me in the hallway. It was she, the woman from the hospice unit, restored to her former self, both legs intact, and exuding a radiance that belied her earthly ailments. In that sacred moment, we stood face to face, a silent understanding passing between us. I smiled in gratitude, for she had bestowed upon me a visitation, a glimpse into the realm of the unknown. Her presence filled the space with a palpable joy, a celebration of her transition, and I felt blessed to bear witness to such a profound encounter. Eager to share my experience, I contacted the hospice unit, urging them to check on the woman. A nurse who attended to her returned to the phone, her voice filled with solemn affirmation. The woman had passed, her spirit departing from the confines of her mortal vessel, leaving behind a legacy of love and a message of joy. In the depths of my home, an unsettling phenomenon has taken hold, weaving a tapestry of eerie experiences that defy explanation. Whispers of the supernatural have filled the air, echoing through the corridors and disturbing the tranquility that once graced these walls. As a purveyor of tales steeped in darkness, I find myself trapped within the confines of my own macabre narrative. It all began innocently enough, amid the mundane task of cleaning the kitchen. Suddenly, a resonant voice pierced the air, calling out my nickname in a commanding tone that mirrored my father's. Bewildered, I turned, only to find his room empty, devoid of his presence. Confusion and unease gnawed at my soul, for I knew without a doubt that he was absent from the abode. Yet, undeterred, I pressed forward, dismissing the incident as a fleeting illusion. Alas, the sinister echoes persisted, growing in frequency and intensity. Time and again, the familiar voices of my parents rang out, beckoning me from the shadows. But therein lay the twisted truth that sent shivers coursing through my veins. The name they called me was not my own, but rather a moniker known only to those outside our immediate family, a peculiar dissonance that added an extra layer of disquiet to the unfolding nightmare. The torment reached its zenith with a horrifying awakening. Startled from slumber, I found myself assaulted by the bellowing of my full name, uttered with a venomous anger that seemed to emanate from within my very ear. Instinctively, I sprang from my bed, only to be met with the chilling realization that solitude enveloped the house. My door remained closed, and no other presence lingered within. The haunting cries of my 8-year-old brother from the previous night, seemingly in distress, were proven to be nothing more than the illusions of a troubled mind, for he slept peacefully, undisturbed by the phantoms that plagued my existence. In shared moments of vulnerability, my parents confirmed the unsettling truth. They too had fallen victim to the same spectral calls, distorted and misaligned with reality. My brother, ever the innocent, referred to them in the conventional mom and dad appellations. My usage of endearing nicknames, reserved for their ears alone, only served to deepen the mystery. Countless times my mother had rushed to my room, bewildered by my apparent cries for help, only to find me diligently engaged in my studies. My father recounted a harrowing episode during my absence on a vacation where they claimed to have heard my voice emanating from my room, speaking words that defied comprehension. Yet, I was separated from them by a distance of 500 miles. The most vexing aspect, however, lies not in the audacious mimicry of our identities, but in the repercussions that befall those who dare to acknowledge this spectral charade. Migraines plague my mind with unforgiving intensity whenever discussions turn to these supernatural occurrences. It is as if the entity behind these sinister machinations seeks attention, demanding recognition through its macabre impersonations. Yet, defiance in the face of such manipulation seems to incur a heavy toll, inflicting physical anguish upon those who refuse to succumb. As I find myself entangled in this chilling enigma, I am reminded of the relentless nature of the supernatural forces that lurk just beyond the veil of our comprehension. They taunt and torment, preying upon our fears and vulnerabilities. I am left to wonder what nefarious entity seeks solace within the boundaries of our home, toying with our identities, and orchestrating a symphony of psychological torment. In this realm of shadows and uncertainty, the only certainty that remains is the need for resolution. Determined to unravel the enigma that ensnares my family, I delve deep into the annals of occult lore, seeking answers and guidance to counteract the malevolent force that invades our lives. My research unearths a long-forgotten tale, a tale of a vengeful spirit known as the Ʇᴜ whose insidious nature thrives on imitating the living. This malignant entity preys upon the vulnerabilities of its victims, exploiting their deepest fears and emotions to gain control. Its insatiable thirst for attention fuels its haunting mimicry, manifesting as the voices and cries of those it targets. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I devise a plan to confront the Ʇᴜ head-on. Determined to liberate my family from its spectral clutches, I gather my loved ones, their eyes reflecting a mixture of trepidation and hope, as I share the secrets I've unraveled. Together, we embark on a journey of spiritual fortitude and unwavering resilience, ready to face the unknown. Drawing upon ancient rituals and protective charms, we create a sacred circle within the heart of our haunted abode. Within its confines, we invoke the power of light and purity, casting aside the darkness that festers within our home. Each of us contributes to the incantation, our voices intertwining as a unified force against the otherworldly adversary. As the words of the incantation reverberate through the air, the atmosphere thickens with an ethereal energy. A chill permeates the room, as if the Ʇᴜ senses its impending demise. Shadows dance upon the walls, contorting and writhing in a final attempt to thwart our collective will. In a climactic surge of defiance, we call upon the spirits of protection, drawing upon their ancient strength. A brilliant surge of light emanates from within the sacred circle, dispelling the darkness that has plagued our lives for far too long. The anguished cries and false voices diminish, fading into the ether as the Ʇᴜ retreats, vanquished by the sheer determination and unity of our resolve. With the malevolent entity expelled, a serene calm descends upon our home. No longer haunted by spectral echoes, we begin to rebuild our lives, mending the emotional wounds inflicted by this nightmarish ordeal. Although scarred by the experience, we emerge stronger, fortified by the knowledge that together we have conquered the supernatural forces that sought to tear us apart. The tale of the Ʇᴜ becomes a cautionary legend, whispered among those who tread the delicate line between the living and the unseen. We share our story, warning others of the insidious power that can dwell within the shadows, urging them to remain vigilant against the lure of spectral impersonations. As a storyteller of the macabre, I find solace in the fact that our harrowing ordeal has transformed into a tale of triumph and resilience. It serves as a reminder that even in the darkest corners of existence, the light of determination and unity can guide us towards redemption and liberation from the clutches of darkness. And so, we move forward, forever altered by our encounter with the supernatural, forever bound by the unbreakable threads of family and the strength found within our shared humanity. When I was 2 years seizure-free, I found myself embarking on a rather peculiar adventure, a test called the Epilepsy Monitoring Unit. It involved a 5-day stay at the hospital, where I would stop taking my medication and subject myself to sleep deprivation. To make the experience a little less daunting, I was allowed to bring along anything that would bring me comfort. And to top it off, my dear dad would be right there by my side, ensuring my well-being. As I settled into my hospital room, adorned with sterile white walls and the faint scent of antiseptic, I couldn't help but notice an intriguing presence. It was as if there was an ethereal being lingering around me, invisible to the naked eye but undeniably palpable. This apparition took the form of a young nurse, clad in a pristine white uniform, complete with a button-up blouse and a skirt. Perched upon her head was a square-shaped hat, like something out of a vintage medical drama, with a bold red cross embellished upon it. I couldn't quite place the time period this attire belonged to, but it added a touch of mystery to the whole situation. This young nurse, despite her spectral nature, seemed fully committed to her role. She would make occasional visits to my room, checking up on me with an air of genuine concern. She would inquire if I needed anything, attending to my needs in a way that made me feel both comforted and cared for. It all seemed rather peculiar to me, almost silly, but to her, every interaction was as real as could be, and yet there was a tinge of melancholy that accompanied her presence. Over time, I began to sense that she had a deeper connection to the room itself, a connection that revolved around a young boy, no older than 5 to 8 years of age. It was as if she had tended to him in this very room. But alas, she had not been able to save him from whatever affliction had befallen him. One night, the clock struck 2 a.m., and the stillness of the hospital room was shattered by the sudden arrival of a seizure. My memory of that moment is hazy, like shards of a broken mirror, but I do recall emerging from the seizure, greeted by the worried faces of my father and a physical nurse. The latter swiftly attended to my needs, ensuring my comfort and safety before departing from the room. It was then, in that fleeting moment of respite, that my dad revealed something that sent shivers down my spine. He recounted how, during the ordeal, my heart had actually stopped beating. In those desperate moments, he clung to me tightly, frantically pressing the nurse call button over and over again. He feared he was about to lose me, and the anguish he experienced in that fleeting instant was something he never wished upon anyone. As he shared this harrowing tale, I found myself grappling with the enormity of what had occurred. My mind was reeling, my heart filled with gratitude for being alive, yet the shock of it all rendered me speechless. In the days that followed, as I slowly regained my strength, I couldn't help but notice the absence of the ghostly nurse who had been a constant presence before. It was then that the realization struck me like a bolt of lightning. She had vanished since the very moment of my seizure, since the exact moment my heart had faltered and threatened to extinguish. It suddenly became clear that while she may not have succeeded in saving her previous young patient's life, she had, in fact, saved mine. That ghostly nurse, whose lingering spirit had haunted the room, had found solace in fulfilling her purpose through me. She had found redemption in that fateful night when my heart ceased its rhythm. Her ethereal presence had been intertwined with the room, bound by the weight of her past failures. But in saving my life, she had finally completed her unfinished journey, her duty fulfilled. As I reflected on this realization, a sense of profound peace washed over me. I had been touched by a supernatural force, guided by the hands of fate itself. The nurse's lingering spirit had been a guardian in disguise, watching over me during those trying days in the hospital. Her youthful appearance and timeless uniform were merely remnants of the past, imprinted on her spectral form. It was a poignant reminder that the essence of compassion transcends time and space, forever etching its mark on the human soul. With each passing day, my gratitude for that ghostly nurse grew. I often found myself whispering words of appreciation into the quiet solitude of my hospital room. I thanked her for her unwavering care, her unseen presence that had brought me solace in moments of vulnerability, and I thanked her for saving my life, for giving me the opportunity to continue my journey in this world. As I gradually regained my strength and bid farewell to the hospital, I carried with me the memory of the ghostly nurse. Her existence had defied the boundaries of the tangible world, reminding me that miracles can manifest in the most unexpected forms. She had been a silent witness to my struggle, a silent savior in the face of uncertainty. Years passed, and life moved forward. I found myself on a path of healing and self-discovery, inspired by the profound experiences of my past. The encounter with the ghostly nurse had awakened within me a deep appreciation for the fragility and resilience of life. It had instilled in me a sense of purpose, a drive to make each day count, for I understood the preciousness of the moments we are granted. As I delved into the world of storytelling, I sought to capture the essence of that extraordinary encounter. I wove tales of hope and resilience, infusing them with the touch of the supernatural that had touched my own life. Through my words, I aimed to ignite a spark of wonder in the hearts of those who listened, reminding them that even in the darkest of times, there is always a glimmer of light. And so, I became the storyteller, sharing my experiences and the tale of the ghostly nurse with the world. I traveled from place to place, captivating audiences with my narratives, connecting with them on a profound level. Through the power of storytelling, I hope to inspire others to embrace the magic that lies within their own lives, to cherish the unexplainable, and to believe in the extraordinary. In the quiet moments of solitude, as I prepared to captivate yet another crowd, I would pause and close my eyes. I would send a silent message of gratitude to the ghostly nurse who had forever imprinted herself upon my journey. Though she had long found her peace, her presence continued to guide me, to shape my purpose, and to remind me of the profound interconnectedness of our shared human experience. Let me share with you a chilling tale that unfolded right before my eyes, shaking me to my core. Set in the confines of my beloved neighborhood convenience store, this story embodies the sheer unpredictability of human behavior. Join me on this journey where the ordinary turns terrifying in an instant. The convenience store, my sanctuary during my college years and beyond, was my reliable source of sustenance in times of financial uncertainty. Having secured a job there after the previous employee's unfortunate dismissal, I quickly settled into the routine of serving the locals and encountering an array of intriguing characters. Most were harmless regulars, while others provided ample entertainment with their peculiar antics. But one fateful night, an unassuming couple transformed the tranquil ambience into a scene straight out of a horror movie. As the clock ticked closer to closing time, the store's regular patrons had already made their appearances, including the enigmatic couple who had frequented the place for over a decade. Up until that evening, their unassuming demeanor had never hinted at the violence that was about to unfold. Little did I know that the serenity of that night would be shattered by their explosive argument. At first, their heated exchange was mere background noise, barely reaching my ears. However, as their voices escalated, it became evident that the situation was spiraling out of control. The woman's profanity-laden outbursts directed at her partner compelled me to intervene, urging them to take their dispute outside. With a mixture of concern and trepidation, I embarked on a journey to the other side of the store, hoping to diffuse the escalating tension. But before I could even reach halfway, the situation took a horrifying turn. Without warning, the man seized a bottle of beer from the cooler and launched a vicious attack on the woman's head. Each strike resonated with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. It was a macabre spectacle, defying the ease with which popular media depicts such acts. The woman crumpled to the floor, motionless, her head enveloped in a pool of crimson. The assailant, his rage seemingly satiated, stood over her, his bloodied weapon still clutched in his hand. As I sprinted toward them, he caught sight of my approach and hastily made his escape through the side exit. Vanishing into the darkness, left behind was the haunting image of the woman, her life hanging by a thread. I hesitated to touch her, fearing exacerbation of her injuries, and instead summoned the paramedics, praying for a glimmer of hope. When the medical team finally arrived, they valiantly fought to revive her, but the prognosis was grim. The minutes ticked away, and the authorities, frustratingly tardy in their response, arrived on the scene far too late. Sharing my account of the events with them, I sensed an air of familiarity between the officers and the couple. It was as though this twisted tale had woven its way into the fabric of their lives before. Days later, as I manned the store, my boss shared a sorrowful update. The woman had been declared brain dead, her family choosing to let her pass away. What was once a harrowing assault had now become an unspeakable act of murder. The authorities swiftly apprehended the assailant, whose alcohol-fueled existence had wreaked havoc on his mind, leaving him with little recollection of his heinous deed. The possibility of a diminished punishment loomed, a bitter pill to swallow. In reflecting on this harrowing incident, I find myself grappling with the unsettling reality that justice is not always served. It seems, at times, that the line between accountability and evading consequences blurs, leaving us with a lingering sense of unease. As I recount this disturbing tale, I can't help but ponder the depths of the human psyche and the unpredictability that resides within each of us. It serves as a chilling reminder that beneath the veneer of normalcy, darkness can lurk, waiting for the opportune moment to reveal itself. The convenience store, once a haven of familiarity and comfort, now bore the scars of a tragic event. It stood as a stark reminder that even the most mundane of places can transform into a stage for unimaginable horrors. And as I continued my duties behind the counter, serving customers with a heavy heart, I couldn't shake off the feeling that something had shifted in the very fabric of our community. The news of the assailant's capture spread like wildfire through our tight-knit neighborhood. Whispers and murmurs echoed through the streets as friends and acquaintances discussed the gruesome details and debated the extent of justice that awaited him. It was a topic that consumed conversations, drawing attention to the fragile nature of safety and the lingering fear that it could be shattered at any moment. Meanwhile, the passage of time seemed to have little effect on the wounded souls left behind. The victim's family, burdened with grief and confronted with unimaginable loss, sought solace in the embrace of their loved ones. Their pain was palpable, casting a somber shadow over the community. Support and empathy flowed as neighbors rallied to provide comfort and assistance in any way they could. As the trial loomed on the horizon, the collective anticipation grew. It became evident that this case would be more than just a courtroom spectacle. It would be a test of our faith in the legal system and its ability to dispense justice. The victims, their family, and the community at large yearned for closure, craving a sense of security that had been shattered by the gruesome events that transpired within the walls of that convenience store. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, as the wheels of justice slowly turned. The courtroom became a stage upon which the truth would be unraveled and the accused would face the consequences of his actions. The testimonies were filled with anguish and heartache, intertwining with the legal intricacies of the case. Witnesses bravely stepped forward, recounting their experiences and painting a vivid picture of the night that forever altered our lives. As I sat among the spectators, witnessing the unfolding drama, a wave of emotions surged within me. Anger, sadness, and a glimmer of hope intertwined as I observed the legal process unfold before my eyes. The defense argued for leniency, invoking the accused's impaired mental state, while the prosecution presented a compelling case, emphasizing the gravity of the crime committed. Finally, the moment arrived when the judge, adorned in his robes of authority, delivered the verdict. The room held its breath as the words echoed through the hushed silence. Guilty. The weight of the verdict reverberated, providing a sliver of closure to the victims and their loved ones. It was a bittersweet victory, for no amount of justice could ever truly erase the pain that had been inflicted. In the aftermath of the trial, our community embarked on a collective journey of healing. We gathered to remember the victim, celebrating her life and cherishing the memories that time could not erase. Through candlelight vigils and acts of solidarity, we wove a tapestry of support and resilience, vowing to stand strong in the face of darkness.